Good evening and welcome to this season's second installment of Gametime Situation.
We think we've worked out all the kinks and we're ready to put on the perfect show.
That's what we strive here at Gametime, just like one athletic team that's been putting on its own perfect show.
Well, we better get right to it.
Well, what time is it?
It's game time. Who? On Saturday, September 13th, the Ashland University football team traveled to Michigan Tech to do battle with the 24th-ranked Huskies in the Upper Peninsula. This was the farthest trip of the year to date for the Eagles, considering they had more than a 3-minute drive to Community Stadium for this contest. Junior quarterback Billy Cundiff was dialed in during the first quarter, throwing 3 touchdown passes on the first 3 drives of the quarter. And as seen before by the Ashland faithful, the Eagles jumped out to a 21-0 lead. The first touchdown was a 60-yard deep ball to Nick Polanco, and the next 2 scores were hauled in by senior transfer Johnny Long. The Husky offense was not going to pack up the gear so fast, though, as the running game brought the Huskies back as Phil Milbarth found pay dirt 3 times. The only answer the Eagles had for the surging Huskies was a Cundiff touchdown pass to Joe Horn, capping off the halftime scoring at 28-20. The Huskies came out firing on all cylinders in the second half. They scored 14 consecutive points to take their first and only lead of the afternoon on 2 more rushing touchdowns, making the score 34-28. The Eagles answered on their ensuing kickoff, returning it 62 yards and setting up, you guessed it, another touchdown pass to Nick Polanco, and the extra point gave the Eagles the 1-point lead. Moments later, the defense finally made the big play as senior Tom Brenner stepped in front of Steve Short's pass and returned it all the way to the house for a touchdown, capping off the third quarter scoring. The fourth quarter saw the Eagles finish strong as Harvey found the end zone with 5 minutes and 43 seconds remaining. The Huskies added a late score to make the scoreboard look closer than it was as the Eagles went home a winner. Cundiff completed 25 of 37 passes for 423 yards and 5 touchdown passes. He tied his own AU single-game record for touchdown passes and surpassed his school single-game record for total offense. Brendan, how did the Eagles follow up their first win in 2008?
Well, the Eagles came back home to take on new in-state rival Tiffin, which is in its first year in the GLIAC. Ashland showed the Dragons it will be no easy transition into one of the top Division II football conferences in the country. Ashland controlled the game once they were able to eke out their first touchdown. The game was scoreless for the first quarter. It was the first time the Eagles had been held to 0 points in the first quarter in over a year. But Ashland's offense found a groove in the second quarter, scoring 13 points. Harvey's 5-yard touchdown run made it 6-0, and Cundiff's own 5-yard touchdown carry gave the Eagles a 13-0 lead going into halftime. The Eagle defense briefly lost their focus coming out of the break, allowing the Dragons their only score of the afternoon. From there, the Eagles took over. Nick Polanco caught a Cundiff pass for a touchdown to make it 20-6 going into the fourth quarter. Damaris McCoy ran up the middle for a 2-yard touchdown run in the final quarter, and less than 2 minutes later, Cundiff found Johnny Long wide open in the end zone after a beautiful pump fake for a 25-yard touchdown for the final margin. The Eagles forced 5 turnovers in the game, including 4 interceptions. Senior linebacker Tom Brenner recorded 12 tackles, 4 for a loss, an interception, a sack, and a pass breakup. A big game for Brenner, and he was named the GLIAC Player of the Week. On the offensive side, Cundiff was 19 for 28 with 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. Harvey and McCoy combined for 177 yards rushing and 2 scores. The Eagles now head out to Hillsdale on Saturday at 2:30 to take on the 3-1 Chargers. Last season, Hillsdale handed Ashland its only regular season loss as the Eagles finished the regular season 8-1. So that's all we've got for football, and we're going to take our first time out. We'll be back with more Game Time Situation right after this.
Parents, there's something you can do to protect your kids from drugs and alcohol. Combine ground beef with egg, tomato sauce, breadcrumbs, and spices. Bake in an oven-safe pan at 350 for 50 minutes. Serve hot.
This is Jamie Lee Curtis. Children who eat dinner with their families are less likely to smoke, drink, or use drugs. So, have dinner together every day.
Delicious.
A message from CASA, the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse at Columbia University.
My name's Andy McDonald. I ride this useless wooden toy for a living. It's hard. I've been doing it for 13 years. I'm still lame. I do a trick called a 540. Took me a good 6 years to learn. There's a whole generation of skateboarders out there that are just as talented athletically as any basketball or football player. It takes somebody that's not going to be afraid to fall down a lot, because you definitely will fall down. You're not a failure until you refuse to get back up. Drugs are only going to hinder what I'm trying to do. That right there is my idea of getting high.
Is she thirsty or diabetic? Is he tired or arthritic? Subtle behavioral changes can be early signs of disease in pets. These changes are often less obvious in cats, which can be better than dogs at hiding illness. But a wellness exam from your veterinarian twice a year can help detect, treat, or prevent many health problems before they become serious. So call your veterinarian and schedule your pet's wellness exam today.
As parents, we do whatever is necessary to ensure the health of our children. Sadly, most parents don't realize that their child's first eye exam with an eye doctor should be between the age of 6 and 12 months. I urge you to take your baby to an optometrist for a comprehensive eye assessment. It can literally change your child's vision of the future.
Infancy optometrists offer a no-charge eye assessment for infants 12 months old or younger. Call today to find an optometrist near you.
Welcome back to Game Time Situation. The surprise team of Ashland's fall sports programs is still performing well. The men's soccer team hosted Urbana on September 10th and kept shooting and shooting until Urbana allowed the game-winning goal in the second overtime. The Eagles outshot Urbana 27-7 and finally claimed the win as junior Dan Gilmer, an Urbana transfer, notched his first goal of the year. Kelly Desmond scored the first Eagle goal in the 20th minute, with the assist credited to Tom Mangotic. The lead held until Urbana's Ben Sachanowicz scored in the 90th minute off of a corner kick. The Eagles were 5-0 after the victory and ranked 22nd in the nation and had to wait a week to take on Lake Erie. The 18th ranked Eagles hosted Lake Erie Storm on September 17th and held nothing back. The Eagles calmed the Storm 3-0 at the Ashland University Soccer Complex and showed everyone why they are for real in the 2008 season. The Eagles led in shots 18-5 and corner kicks 5-2 for the game, but the first half was a scoreless affair. The second half was different as senior Aaron Favre scored in the 6th minute and was followed up by 2 Adam Spanbauer goals late in the contest. Spanbauer has 9 tallies on the year, already surpassing last year's team high of 7. The 2 helpers on the Spanbauer goals came off the feet of Kenny Hewitt and Ross Ashland. Brendan, did the Eagle soccer team continue their dominance against Ohio Dominican?
Glad you asked, Matt. The Eagles did continue their dominance, winning their 7th straight game 4-2 over the Ohio Dominican Panthers. The Eagles took a 1-0 lead into halftime. The only goal of the first half came off the foot of Kenny Hewitt, and Tom Rankin delivered the assist. The Eagles outshot ODU in the first half 7-4 and continued to apply pressure on their way to taking a 3-0 lead. In the 57th minute, Ross Ashley beat the keeper from the top of the penalty box on an assist from Hewitt. The third goal came 2 minutes later from Adam Spanbauer, whose 10th goal puts him second in the country in goals per game with 10 goals in 7 games. Ohio Dominican added a goal in the 72nd minute, but James Livingston responded for the Eagles to make it 4-1. Keeper Blaise Leszewski stopped 5 shots in the match, and the Eagles now take on Northwood and Saginaw Valley on Friday and Sunday at Ashland Community Soccer Stadium, located off Route 42 about a half mile north of the Route 250 overpass. That's much different from where they were playing on Broad Street. Matt, the men's soccer team is undefeated. How has the women's team been performing?
If you ask Casey Snyder what she likes to do on Halloween, either trick or treat, she will answer trick every time. Hat trick, that is. Against Urbana, Snyder posted her 2nd hat trick in as many games as the Eagles soccer team chased the Blue Knights out of the town with a 5-2 win. Snyder scored the first 3 Eagle goals, and that was all that was needed in the last game before GLIAC play opened. But just for insurance purposes, the Eagles continued the scoring with a goal from Alicia Van Zanten in the 63rd minute, and freshman Jamie Green scored her first collegiate goal in the 69th minute. The Blue Knights tacked on 2 late goals to prevent the shutout, but it wasn't enough as the Eagles moved to 3-2 on the year. Ashland visited Northern Michigan to take on the Huskies on September 13th to open up GLIAC play for both schools. The contest was tied forever, and finally, Casey Snyder sent some chin music past the Husky goalie, Kara Music. The goal was Snyder's 9th of the season and proved to be the difference in the 85th minute. The assist was awarded to Kelly Usher. Ashland was outshot in the game but held the Huskies to 2 shots in the second half, and Krista Herbst recorded her second shutout of the season. Ashland moved to 4-2 and 1-0 in GLIAC play. Brendan, did the Eagles team bowl over the Bulldogs of Ferris State?
Unfortunately, Matt, the Eagles could not take care of the Bulldogs up at Ferris. Ashland fell 2-1 in a game that featured plenty of offensive opportunities for the Eagles. Ashland outshot Ferris State 12-9 in the first half, but Bulldogs keeper Becky Hudak was on form, making 8 saves in just the first half. Ferris led 1-0 going into the second half and took a 2-0 lead in the 52nd minute. The Eagles did not capitalize on any of their opportunities until the 75th, when Courtney Schuster knocked a high kick past Hudak to make it a 1-goal game. Ashland did not scratch out another goal, though, as Hudak finished the game with 15 saves against the Eagles. The match featured 14 offside penalties, including 9 by Ferris State. Unfortunately for Ashland, their next opponent would not offer them the same number of opportunities, as the Eagles squared off with the top team in the country. Matt, can you guess who that is?
I'm guessing Grand Valley.
That's right, it was Grand Valley. And the Lakers controlled the match from the start as they outshot Ashland 35-5 over the game. Grand Valley scored in the 3rd minute and never looked back as they took a 3-0 lead into halftime. Ashland's defense limited the Lakers to just 1 goal in the second half, led by their keeper Krista Herbst. She made 17 saves in the game, breaking the previous AU single-game record of 15. Grand Valley took 9 corner kicks in the game compared to none for Ashland. Up next for the 4-4 Eagles is Northwood on Friday and Saginaw Valley on Sunday at Ashland Community Soccer Stadium. Friday's game time is now at 5 p.m. as the stadium is lit. So that's all we have for the soccer teams. We'll take a break and be right back with more Game Time Situation after this.
So, what have we got here? Sometimes you feel tired. You can't seem to lose those extra pounds off your midsection. And your joints hurt when you take the stairs? Well, you're getting older. But I'm happy to say that there's some simple things we can do to keep you happy and healthy for years to come. We can also lower your risk for some serious diseases the older population is often subject to. Proper nutrition is more important than ever. Your body has changed, you know. Not as many treats. A basic exercise plan, lots of walks and fresh air, and most importantly, come and see me for twice-yearly checkups to help ensure the best possible quality of life. Now, how does that sound? Good boy.
Improve the quality of life for your elderly pet. Schedule twice-yearly checkups that include preventive care and regular lab work. A message from the veterinary members of the American Animal Hospital Association.
Do you think you'd notice if you were missing half of your money, or half your friends, your better half, your half and half? What if you were missing half of your kidney function? You'd think you'd notice, but you could have chronic kidney disease right now and not even know it. According to the National Kidney Foundation, 20 million people have chronic kidney disease, and 20 million more may be at risk and not even know it. Chronic kidney disease is a growing epidemic. Anyone with high blood pressure, diabetes, or a family history of chronic kidney disease is at risk. Certain ethnic groups are at an even higher risk. Early diagnosis and treatment of this disease and its complications are vitally important. To get the whole story on chronic kidney disease, talk to your doctor and visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org or call 1-800-622-9010 for a free brochure. Because when it comes to chronic kidney disease, you might not know the half of it.
The Hillsdale Chargers have been a thorn in the side for the Eagles volleyball team in recent matches. The Eagles lost all 3 matches last year and look to right the ship this year against the 18th ranked Chargers. The Chargers started strong as they won the first set 25-21, but the Eagles charged back and won the second set 25-23. But the Chargers are ranked 18th for a reason and came back strong in the next 2 sets, winning by the scores of 25-15 and 25-14. It was the opening GLIAC match for both teams. The loss dropped Ashland to 4-4, 0-1 in the GLIAC on the season. The Chargers improved to 9-2 and 1-0 in the GLIAC. Junior Marina Santos provided the most offense for the AU players, leading all players with 14 kills and racking up 16 digs. The Eagle team rebounded from the Hillsdale loss with a 5-set win at Findlay on Saturday, September 13th. AU played another tightly contested 5-set match. The Eagles won the first set 25-23. Findlay responded by winning the next 2 sets 25-19 and 26-24. AU had their backs against the wall, down 2-1 in the match, and fought back. Ashland won the 4th set 26-24. In the 5th and deciding set, the Eagles remained undefeated in 5-set matches, winning 15-13. Junior Marina Santos led all players once again with 18 kills. Junior Brittany Jurchenko provided a much-needed second option, tallying up 14 kills and served up 4 aces, and freshman Andrea Fritz distributed it well with 42 assists. How did the team do as Tiffin visited Cates Gymnasium, Brendan?
Well, the Eagles received an unexpected home court advantage for the Tiffin game. The match was originally scheduled to be played at Tiffin, but winds from Hurricane Ike damaged Tiffin's gym and wiped out power in the Tiffin campus. So with the match moved to Ashland just one day before, the Eagles came out a little bit flat, losing the first set 25-18. Ashland, though, would recover to win the next 3 sets, 25-20, 25-22, and a 25-12 thumping in the 4th and final set. Santos recorded a double-double with 14 kills and 15 digs, while Amanda Stefanski had 13 kills and a .357 hitting percentage to lead the Eagles. Anicia Benton also had 15 kills, and freshman setter Andrea Fritz tallied 44 assists. The Eagles then hit the road on Friday to head up to the Upper Peninsula to take on Lake Superior State. Lake State entered the match with a 1-6 record and were 0-3 in the GLIAC. The Lakers, though, were unfazed by the perennially regional contending Eagles. That's a mouthful. Lake State took the match in 4 sets. Ashland came out and took the first set by a score of 25-18, but the Lakers did not give in to the Eagle will. Ashland fell in a close second set, 27-25, and lost the next 2 sets, 25-22 and 25-14, to fall to 6-5 and 2-2 in the conference. Stefanski, Benton, and Santos all recorded double-digit kills, and Santos added 16 digs. Arian Martin led the team with 19 digs, and Martin tallied 39 assists. The next day, Ashland traveled downstate to Saginaw. How did the Eagles do there, Matt?
The Eagles suffered another loss to Saginaw Valley State on September 20th. The Cardinals beat the Eagles 3-0 with set scores of 25-18, 25-18, and 25-23. The Cardinals moved to 12-1 and 4-1 in the GLIAC play, while the Eagles dropped to 6-6 and 2-3 in the conference. Guess who led the Eagles in kills? Yep, Marina Santos had 11 of them in the defeat, and Arian Martin led all players with 11 digs. The Eagles host Northwood on September 26th and then host Wayne State on the 27th. So now that the Netters have been covered, we'll take our final timeout, and we'll be back with more Game Time Situation right after this.
Sure, my neighbors Gene and Louise, they may be superheroes with superpowers, but that doesn't make them so super at saving energy and money. I mean, I like them and all, but when Gene uses that power vision to cook dinner,
Honey.
or when Louise or Starbright tries to save a little on the lighting bill.
Mom, a little light.
I may not be able to harness the power of the elements, but I save significant cash and help the environment with appliances, electronics, and windows featuring the Energy Star label. And I improved my home energy efficiency with insulation. My thermostat? Watch this. I'm just kidding. It's programmable. I don't have to lift a finger to save on AC and heating.
Mom, Dad's making fondue again.
So discover your own energy-saving superpowers. Go to ase.org/consumers.
1,200 American youth run away from their homes every day. The National Runaway Switchboard is here to help. 1-800-RUNAWAY. If you are a runaway, thinking about running away from home, or a parent or guardian concerned about issues facing your child, call us 24 hours a day. 1-800-RUNAWAY. In times of crisis, hope is just a phone call away. 1-800-RUNAWAY.
Across America, service learning is helping students improve their grades and their communities by connecting the classroom with community service. Working together, students solve real problems, build new skills, and apply their knowledge in a whole new way. Inside the classroom and out, service learning opens new doors and brings learning to life. Get your school involved. Visit learnandserve.gov to find out how.
Welcome back to Game Time Situation. The women's golf team competed at famed PGA golf course TPC Sawgrass this past weekend. The two-day tournament was shortened to one as rain swept the Charlotte area, preventing play on day 2. Stetson University took the team crown with a score of 301. The Eagles finished 13th out of 17 teams with a final total of 338. Erin Misheff led Ashland with a score of 82 after going out with a 39 in the morning. She tied for 44th in the tournament. Stephanie Schwertner finished with an 84, while teammates Annie Miles and Elisa Leonard each tallied 86s. Melanie Fortner delivered a 91. The Eagles are next in action Monday and Tuesday at the University of Akron Zippy Invitational. Matt, how did the men's team perform at the regional tournament?
The men's golf team entered the fall regional with high hopes for a win. The team finished the tournament in 5th place behind winner Indianapolis at 550, Ferris State 574, Grand Valley State at 577, and Drury at 579. Ashland finished the tournament with a score of 580 and was led by Danny Evans, shooting a 139 and finishing tied for 6th. John Furlong posted a 146 and Joe DeAndre posted a 147, finished tied for 24th and 31st, respectively.
The AU women's tennis team is starting right where they left off last season, and that means winning. The Eagles opened up their season on September 12th at Wayne State. The Eagles won the contest 6-3. Earning victories for the Eagles were freshman Victoria Gowdy in second singles, freshman Paige Cooper in third singles, this is a young team, freshman Sarah Tegner in fourth singles, and sophomore Alexandra Ware in sixth singles. AU also picked up doubles wins by the teams of freshman Paula Orozco and sophomore Corinne Paisley in second doubles. In third doubles, Tegner and junior Krista Halicki also pulled out a victory. On September 13th, the Eagles won over in-state rival Findlay 8-1. Ashland won 5 of the 6 singles matches and swept all the doubles matches. Matt, how did the Eagles do at Malone?
The Ashland University tennis team improved to 3-0 after a win over Malone College on Wednesday, September 17th. The Eagles swept the contest 9-0. Freshman Paolo Orozco had the toughest challenge in winning her match 6-2, 3-6, 10-3. Her other freshman counterparts, Victoria Gowdy and Paige Cooper, both swept their matches, and freshman Sarah Tegner was one set away from sweeping hers as well, winning her match 6-1, 6-0. While the freshmen did their jobs, and the upperclassmen followed suit. Sophomores Corinne Paisley and Alexandria Ware won their matches as well 6-4, 6-1, and 6-0, 6-1 respectively. Victoria Gowdy, Paige Cooper, and Paolo Orozco traveled up to Midland, Michigan this past weekend to compete in the ITA Regionals. Orozco was seeded 12th in the singles tournament and made it into the third round before losing to third-seeded Ashley Newman from Northwood. Gowdy also made it to the third round of the singles draw before losing to second-seeded Chandra Kapowski of Drury. The doubles team of Cooper and Gowdy seeded 8th in the doubles tournament. The duo made it to the third round before losing to the fourth-seeded Coopson and Openlander from Grand Valley. The Eagles have 6 straight home matches following tomorrow's duel at Tiffin. So, Brendan, while the tennis team was running over the hard courts, how was the men's cross-country team done on the course?
The men's cross team was in action at the Mel Brott Invitational at Bowling Green on September 13th, and I'll tell you, Matt, they ran pretty well, winning the meet over some quality competition with Division I opponents like Kent State and Eastern Michigan in the field. Brock Weaver finished 8th in the meet with a time of 26:48 on the 8-kilometer course. Cameron Johnson, Matt Stratman, Nick McQuillan, Jeremy Train, and Anthony Begro all finished in the top 20 in the meet to secure Ashland's team victory. The Eagles' next race at Otterbein on Saturday.
The Ashland University's women's cross-country team looked to put its season into gear as it traveled to the Mel Brott Invitational September 13th. The Eagle runners finished 5th out of 7 teams and totaled 107 points. Ashland's best times were recorded by Abby Selhorst, who ran the 5K in 19 minutes and 49 seconds and finished 11th, and Bryn Winters, who clocked 19 minutes and 58 seconds and finished 14th. Well, Brendan, that wraps up. No, it doesn't actually. We're going to go ad-lib for a little bit. Who do you think can do well for the MVP race in the National League?
The National League MVP is going to come down. Now, people have been talking about Ryan Howard for winning it. He's hitting only .249. He's got a ton of home runs, a ton of RBIs, but he's only hitting .249, and he's going to set the single-season strikeout record. Now, for me, it's hard to imagine anybody like that getting it. So I'm going to go off the board, and I'm going to go ahead and take his teammate, his closer, Brad Lidge. Now, they don't take pitchers very often for the MVP, but Brad Lidge has really stabilized the back end of that bullpen for the Phillies, and that's, of course, depending on whether they make the playoffs. If the Mets make it, it could be David Wright, it could be anybody else, but I think Brad Lidge has been the key to the Phillies' success. And then who do you have in the National League?
It's tough because in the American League, they have a lot more good players, and this would be a weird season if they pick who I'm thinking would be the AL American League MVP, and that would be Francisco Rodriguez of the Angels, just because he broke the single-season record for most saves in one season. With right now it's at 57. It could be 60 by the end of the year, but this guy can win games. He's almost like the present-day Mariano Rivera for the Yankees, but this guy will get the job done in the playoffs hands down. And I think, if two pitchers win the American League and National League MVPs, we're in for an interesting playoff season.
It would be crazy. No hitters are really standing out for the Red Sox. Maybe Dustin Pedroia, but he's got help with him. So we'll see how that plays out. It'll be interesting come November who gets announced.
Exactly. Well, Brendan, that wraps up another episode of Game Time Situation.
Yes, it's kind of a bittersweet moment, we know. But we'll be back here in another 2 weeks for another look at AU sports. Hopefully we'll be talking about a 4-2 football team and a still unbeaten men's soccer team.
We will see you all in 2 weeks. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.